I am in a fucking heinous mood today, so I decided I would make a video to cheer myself up and also because it's been absolutely ages. So if I just show you what we're working with here, I did wash my hair yesterday, but then I had a bath and like didn't dry it properly like last night. So my hair has just been fucked up into some kind of a bun for the moment. I'll sort that out after I've done my face. My lips are completely chapped because of the incredibly cold weather and also because I keep picking at them. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is sort that out with some lip balm. This one is the Glossier birthdaybalm.com universal salve. This one smells and tastes like birthday cake. It's absolutely gorgeous. My only complaint is that it's incredibly thick and sometimes difficult to actually get out of the squeezy tube if it's quite cold like it is now. But clearly my lips need some healing. So we'll throw that on and hopefully I'll stop abusing them and the weather will get a bit better. So yeah, I have this tendency, I think it's an anxious habit where when my lips are dry and peeling, I will just pull off the skin with my teeth. It's definitely an anxious thing. And I know it's really, really bad for my skin and not what I should be doing, but it's a bad habit. Right, so there's a button stuck on here. So let me just adjust this. That's better. Hey, Happy New Year. Thank you for joining me. So the salve is on my lips. Hopefully that will help them look a little bit less beaten up. We can cover that with makeup anyway. I've just put on the Drunk Elephant Whipped Cream Moisturizer. Again, I think this is way overhyped and overpriced. I'm just trying to use it off, that's all. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do my eyebrows to give that moisturizer some time to sink in. I have a really nice little fine micro pencil from Catrice here. It's called the Slimatic Ultra Precise Brow Pencil, 1.5 millimeter thickness, and this is the shade 035 Ash Brown. So I've got a mirror here, so I'm going to look in this mirror as I fill in my eyebrow. I'm going to do a line along the bottom where I want to be the kind of boundary of my eyebrow. And this eyebrow seems to be thinner now than the other one. So it's gotten even thinner over time. So I'm just going to fill in where I want the boundaries of my brow to be. So I'm going along the top. And I'm basically drawing on where there is no hair at the top, because that tends to be the biggest issue. Like you can't fill in or you can't thicken up your brows and create brow hairs with a tinted brow gel where there are no hairs. So this is why I'm starting with the pencil. So that's one side down. All I've done is kind of give myself the boundaries. Do you know what? I wish that was true in my case. I literally just have no fucking eyebrows. It sucks. Like I've never really plucked them. Like obviously I'll pluck if I have like a random hair down here, but this is all I have. This was all I was given. In some ways, I guess it's a good thing because like I'm generally a pretty like hairless woman, but it means I have thin eyebrows, very fine thin hair, and yeah, I mean, you just can't have it every way, can you, I suppose. Right, let's do the same roughly on the other side. Of course, no two eyebrows are the same, and some are more different than others, in my case. And I'm starting to bring them out a little bit further these days. So I've been trying to like almost decentralize my face, because I feel like it takes away from the length and the close setness of my eyes as well when I do that. So anything to distract from my small close set eyes and my sort of long inherited face. I'm not sure how good a job I'm doing on here. I'm just sort of winging it. It's been a while since I've done proper makeup. Because my skin has been so dry, a lot of the time I've just been throwing on a tinted moisturizer so that doesn't show any flakes, especially around here and around my nose. Mascara and then some brow gel just so I look human. I haven't really been doing proper makeup, to be honest. I'm just going to use this spoolie on the other side to sort of soften that line that I've created on both sides so it doesn't look too harsh. And then I will go in with a brow gel because I do want this to look like natural because obviously, you know, block brows aren't really the thing anymore. and kind of undetectable how filled in they truly are. So yeah, I've just lengthened them a small bit and pulled them out rather than down, because obviously anything downturned will make my face be pulled down and make me look a little bit older. And as someone who is nearly 35, we're looking for youth. We're not looking to age ourselves here. Right, so I have a couple of different brow gels that I could use. The one I'm trying to use up is the Glossier Boy Brow. I do really like this, but there is not a lot of product in here. So let's just try and use it up. This is the brown one. I have the gray one as well, and to be honest, they're pretty fucking similar. So, okay, let's just paint this on to my eyebrow hairs. So you can see again, it doesn't fill in really, it can only coat the hairs that you already have. So this is probably an ideal product for someone who just needs a tiny bit of enhancement. For someone who needs something a bit heavier duty like me, it's still a nice product, but you can't really get away with having just the tinted brow gel. If I want a stronger tinted brow gel, not tilted, what I've been doing is I've been using the Essence Thick and Wow Fixing Brow Mascara, because this has actual volumizing fibers in it. So it's basically fake brow hairs. So when I've been lazier and just running out the door, I've been using that one. But I'm trying to use up the Glossier because I don't need 4 or 5 different tubes of, brow tint. So I probably won't repurchase this one. I've repurchased it in the past. It was in I think a Sephora haul that I did a few months ago. But just with the price and everything, and the fact that Essence have brought out several good alternatives, like of varying different degrees of thickness, I suppose, I really don't need the Glossier anymore. So the Essence Make Me Brow is the other good one that's more similar to the Glossier, I would say. And I have a feeling I have another one. I've got like a Catrice one rattling around in here somewhere as well. I think it might have been the wrong shade though, so maybe I might have thrown it out. I can't remember. Right. The other thing that kind of annoys me about this is like, obviously there's not a lot of product in here, but very soon after you open it, you're like scraping the sides to try and find the product. Yes, the Benefit one is really nice, but it's expensive. Totally agree. Benefit brow products are insane, but if I were to get like the 2 to 3 brow products I need from Benefit, I would probably be spending over 50 quid and then still have to repurchase them like every 3 months. And that's just more than I really want to spend on my eyebrows, given how pathetic they are. Anyway, Jesus Christ, that was an awfully long spiel about eyebrows. Let's talk about something else. So, does anybody have any New Year's resolutions or anything? I'm trying to be a bit nicer to myself. I don't really feel like doing that today, but I can only try. So, I have a really bad habit of like beating myself up over things like just not being perfect, I guess. I am working on this in CBT, and CBT is fucking hard work. Like for anyone that's never done any kind of therapy or whatever, like it's fucking difficult. It's not like you just go and see this person and they fucking fix all your problems in a few sessions. Like a lot of it is just them throwing questions back to you and being like, well, why do you think you do that? Or how could we change this? And you're like, I don't fucking know. If I knew how to change all of my bad habits, I wouldn't be in therapy. I mean, I get what they're trying to do. They're getting you to do the work, and it's a lot of like self-discovery and that kind of thing. But like therapy is fucking difficult. And I'm sure anybody that's watching this can agree with me. Like, it's not an easy process. And sometimes I come out from the sessions and I'm like fucking worn out and I'm cranky and I feel very like emotionally vulnerable. So like I do think that it's going to help me long term, but like it is difficult. Like trying to be nicer to myself is really, really hard when I've had these sort of weird survival rules for living for a really long time. So I'm working on being nicer to myself, forgiving myself for things like perceived mistakes that I've made, etc. So that will just take time, I'm thinking. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try my best, because ultimately these old habits are not serving me anymore. So if I can leave some of them in the past, that would be really helpful for me as a person. Right. Anyway, let's put a bit more makeup on. That moisturizer that I've applied has soaked in really nicely. So as I was saying, I'm only really using skin tints at the minute because my skin is so dry. The only exception being the Shiseido Revitaliscent Skin Glow Foundation is absolutely really fantastic. Yeah, thank you for defending me in the comments. You're very nice. That's a really good one. The other one that's really nice is the Fenty Beauty Ease Drops. I think I'm going to use this today. So this is pretty much a skin tint. This is a really nice shade actually, like it's a true neutral. So even if you were like a little bit more on the olive side, this would probably still work for you. So I'm going to throw that on now. So it's pretty much a spot on match, even slightly light for me. But once I have the rest of my makeup on, that's going to look fine. But yeah, therapy is a difficult one. I'm glad I'm doing it, but like therapy is definitely not an easy route. It's not a quick fix, you know, and I respect anyone that's gone through it and come out the other side and not quit, because there are times when you absolutely do want to quit because it just feels so hard, and therapy can just feel like another fucking task on your to-do list when you already have an extremely busy life. So kudos to anyone who's already been through it and made it out the other side. It's not easy. Like life is so fucking busy, and I feel like self-care in a way is almost like another thing that's been added to the list that we have to do. So we have to, you know, maintain a full-time job, um, keep a house, we have to maintain our relationships or improve them. We're trying to keep fit and healthy, but also have balance in our lives. Or we're trying to go to the gym, or we're trying to run or exercise or whatever. We're trying to do inner work. We're trying to have a good sleep routine. We're trying to socialize and keep in contact with our friends and support them, be there with our families, etc. You know, like there's a lot that is just put upon us today in society, and that the pace of life now is insane. I don't feel like people had these kinds of pressures 50 years ago. I mean, obviously they had pressures, but maybe different pressures. Everything just moves so fast now, and I've actually, to give myself a bit of a break, I have taken an app blocker on as like a bit of a project. So I'm doing like 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, no social media, so I can't check my phone during the day. If I try and open, hello, if I try and open Facebook, Instagram, or even YouTube, I'm still allowed YouTube Studio, but if I open any of those from Monday to Friday between 9 and 5, it'll just be blocked. So I think that's actually going to be really good for my mental health. I don't know if anyone else has used one of those. If you've ever used an app blocker, let me know. Like, what did you think? Did you find it helpful? You would be amazed, or I was amazed, at how many times I tried, hello, how many times I tried to open the app without even thinking about it, without even realizing I was opening Facebook and Instagram just as something to do, you know? Sorry, this is my chamomile tea, which has already gone cold, but oh well, I guess I have been yapping on for, oh my God, 13 minutes already. Right, I better actually do something with the rest of my face now. So the look we are going for here is concealing how incredibly dry my skin is. I've already filled in my eyebrows a little bit if you missed that. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is one of the simplest eye looks ever. Now, seeing as I already look pale and tired, because that's just my general vibe, I'm going to stick with that sort of a look and just embrace it. So this is the Bobbi Brown Long Wear Cream Shadow Stick in the shade Taupe. I'm going to apply that all over my eyelid and slightly under my eye, just for a really lazy, easy, sort of simple grunge look. Like an everyday grunge, nothing intense. It's a completely matte color. Now, when I bought this, I thought that it was going to be more cool tone than it actually is. Sometimes when you blend it out, it can actually look slightly yellowish. But I don't know if that's just on my skin tone. And if you put this on someone with warmer undertones, it would probably look a bit more gray. So that's what it's looking like now, completely unblended. I'm going to just, again, pull it out a little bit further because I'm trying to pull my makeup out a little bit more to kind of widen my face slightly, because I have quite a long face, and also to make my eyes look less close set. Ah, brilliant. Thank you. I'm really glad you like that, actually. I need to pick up more of those Rimmel ones. They're actually in stores now, which I'm really, really happy about, because I ordered them online kind of like blindly at the time. So even though the color worked out, I was a bit kind of hesitant and I didn't really know what was going to happen. Right, so I'm just going to blend that in now with just a really old Real Techniques. Is this a crease brush? Essential crease brush, pardon me. Right, so just buffing out the edges. The nice thing about these long wear cream shadow sticks is that you do have a couple of minutes just to play around with them. And like, look how easily that's blending out. I'm not even really trying very hard. I'm actually being dead lazy. Now, this kind of look isn't for everyone. Like, some people really like shimmery looks. Some people would want matte colors, but they'd want something warmer. Because again, warm colors have been in fashion for a really long time. I feel like the return of the cool tones is inevitable though, and I think it's coming slowly. I've noticed a lot of like viral or trending lipsticks are now like cool toned 90s shades. Like, I think that ballet slippers from, is it L'Oreal, has been going viral again. So I was really pleased to see that, because I don't love frosty lipsticks, but I do love cool tones, and I think they look better on me as well. I find it really difficult to pull off like warm toned reds. I mean, I did when well, I didn't pull them off. I did wear them when I didn't really know much about color theory. I think there's a picture of me on my 23rd birthday wearing Lady Danger, and like, it's a stunning lipstick, but it just doesn't really look as great on me. Yes, the cool toned resurgence. So I'm very much happy to bring back those kind of looks. Like, I'm all here for the return of eyeshadows like Max Satin Taupe, like, or Copper Plate, God rest its soul. That was a really beautiful color as well. I don't think you can get that anymore. But this eyeshadow, I would say this eyeshadow stick is a bit like the cream version of Copper Plate. Okay, I think I've put more on this side than I have on this side, but I'll just keep blending, blend it up a little higher, blend it out a little further, and we'll see if that kind of balances out. Yeah, thereabouts. There's always a slight imbalance with this camera anyway. Speaking of, yeah, it's the goat. Speaking of cameras and stuff. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. I've got like a million things in my head. Speaking of cameras, I need a new phone, I think. Number one, to improve the quality of my videos. Like, I am really conscious that this is not great quality. I just film on my Google Pixel 7, which, as you know, is a pretty old handset now. Like, it's been out for whatever, like 3 years, 4 years, whatever. And I saw someone filming on their, I think it was a Samsung S24 Ultra, and like, I messaged them not knowing this, going, "Oh my God, what kind of camera are you using? Your quality is amazing." And then they were just like, "Oh, it's just my phone." And I was like, whoa, like, that's not even a current flagship handset. So I really, really want to trade in my phone to get a new one. The current phone I'm using as well, not only is it totally out of date in terms of like the camera and stuff, like, there isn't even a big difference between the front camera and the back camera, so I just use the front one. I've managed to somehow, even though it's in a case, smash the glass in front of the back camera, so I can still take pictures and stuff. But like, it's not good to have, like, it's not loose glass, but I'm afraid like some tiny little fragment is going to fall out in the house and like somehow get into the cat's paws or something. Like, I'm really worried about things like that. So, oh God, what is with this side of the eyeshadow? Um, yeah, I think I just need to get a new phone. Like, I've had this one for 2.5, 3 years maybe. Didn't even pay a lot for it at the time. I'm thinking about buying a phone outright though, so if anyone's got any experience of refurbished phones, that would be awesome. If you could leave it in the comments there in the live stream, I'd really like to know. Um, I've been looking at refurbished ones for around the kind of 350 mark for the S24 Ultra, with like 256 gig, which is way more storage than I would ever even need. But the quality of the camera is insane, like for video in particular. So I'm thinking about that'll like help me kind of balance it, the colors in here, the settings. It'll have way more options in there, and just the quality. Like, it's literally just the quality is really getting me there. So yeah, I've kind of thought 350 sounds pretty good for an outright phone, because I'm only paying, I think, like £9.80 a month for my current contract with O2, which is pretty good. So that's kind of my plan, but I'm a bit nervous. I've never gotten a refurbished phone before. I've never even bought a phone outright, but I'm just not willing to pay like 40, 50 quid a month for a phone. Like, it's just not worth it to me. So, oh yeah, thank you very much for asking about Pearl and Hazel. They're totally, totally fine. They enjoyed their Christmas, loads of dreamies. I'm surprised Hazel hasn't come up, but I think she might be sunning herself on the back of the sofa with Pearl. So I was just looking outside earlier, and like, even though it's actually snowing today in Manchester, it's quite sunny. So they're both like just enjoying the vibes, I think. Right, so that eyeshadow has long since set. I think it needs to be slightly heavier just in this corner. I'm nitpicking now. I'm sure like most people probably won't even notice. Although if my camera quality improves, my eyeshadow will have to up its game a bit because you'll actually be able to see more of the errors. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some liner with that, again, just to kind of enhance the sort of grungy effect. I don't really want to use black though. So Max Teddy is my go-to, but that's too warm for a look like this. Do I have a nice brown? I've got this one from 1999. It was like a little free sample thing. So let me have a look at that. That looks a bit warm, I think. It actually looks, yeah, again with this camera, like I've got to bring it right up here to even show you what the color looks like. That's a really dark brown and it's a bit warm. What else have I got in here? I've got so many eyeliners and still I feel like I have none. Does anyone ever feel like that? I do have my shadow sticks in here as well, to be fair. This could be a good one. This is Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade Underground. So I'm just going to give a big heavy swatch of that. That's kind of like a mushroomy color. So I think that one will probably work reasonably well with this. There is a slight shimmer to this, but it's not that noticeable on the eyes. So I think it'll still be okay with this matte eyeshadow. Yes, Bourbon is stunning. 1999, if you can get your hands on it, is stunning. I have a feeling that's discontinued. Rockstar is probably my favorite burgundy as well. My problem with these is just they're a little bit expensive, and like it takes me so long to get through an eyeliner pencil that I often just don't buy them, and I kind of survive with whatever I've got. But yeah, I totally agree. Oh, this is more shimmery than I remember, but again, we're gonna buff this out, so you probably won't even notice it. And it will probably just end up as more of like a satin sort of a liner. I'm going to build that up just on the outside corner as well, just so we're kind of adding some depth to my eye. Now, unlike the Bobbi Brown sticks, you have to work really quickly with these. Like you've got like 10 to 20 seconds before these are locked in place. And that's amazing because the eyeliner will not go anywhere. But also you don't have much time to play around with it, so you have to be careful. So I think you could see a bit of a difference there. I will layer up a little bit more. I'm not going to blend all of it out because I do just want some kind of base definition around the base part of my lashes here. But yeah, that's giving me enough definition there now. Can always add a little bit of a shadow as well if I want to, like maybe like a dark gray or something. But yeah, building this up on the outer corner of this eye as well. I know I'm slightly off camera, but I'm trying to look in my mirror. So yes, do I have an ideal setup for filming? Not really, but I feel like if I had a better camera, that would be at least make my videos a bit nicer to look at. And then you can all just listen to me ramble on about rubbish in better quality. I still don't know if I'm going to go back to like you know, sort of more edited scripted format. I think I'm quite happy with this for now. I have a very busy work schedule. That was part of why I stopped doing kind of more edited videos and videos that required a lot more time. So my work schedule has gotten busier, which is good, but I do kind of miss having a bit more time to myself and kind of to do stuff like this. My main priority as well is not to grow YouTube. My priority in life generally is just to kind of be happy, I suppose. And like I'm kind of surprised I did manage to gain 275 subscribers this year. Like I was really, really happy with that. However, you know, I'm realistic about this, and like most channels never really get above 1,000 subscribers anyway, so like this really was just meant to be a hobby for me. I think it became a bit of a stress for a while when I was like, why aren't people watching my videos, and what's wrong with my thumbnail, how can I optimize it, I'm going to pay for Canva to like try and improve it, etc. When like really this was just supposed to be fun, and if it's not fun, I'm not going to do it. So at the moment I'm just going to stick with like this style of video because it's easy and I can just jump on here whenever I want. Whereas, you know, trying to do a filming schedule and like promising videos and then not delivering them because life gets in the way can be really stressful. So I think I'm just going to stick with this for now, and I appreciate anybody that's kind of sticking with me here. I really do value anybody that watches my videos, comments, likes, etc. Like it always makes me really happy. But equally, you know, I'm not owed engagement, and what was I going to say? I've lost my train of thought now. You see, this is what happens when you don't edit things. All of this rubbish comes into it. Yeah, so basically what I'm trying to say is I love being on here and I enjoy it, but I don't want to take it too seriously because it will just end up feeling like another job and a job that I'm failing at because it's so, so difficult to get anywhere with it. And like I have friends that have been, on YouTube for a long time. Some of them have been like incredibly successful. Some of them it hasn't really gone anywhere. And then some people are like in the middle where they've had like moderate success, but they feel like stressed because they're trying to keep growing. And a lot of it isn't even about subscribers as well. A lot of it is about views, and like hours viewed, like time viewed. It's actually easy enough to get the subscribers. I say that I don't even have them. And to get the subscribers to get monetized, it's actually the watch hours that are really, really difficult to get. And actually, surprisingly, my watch hours have been so much better since I've started doing these long videos. So yeah, thank you for that, for anybody who's watching my videos. This Hourglass concealer, sorry, I keep calling it Hourglass. This House Labs concealer seems to be lasting me forever. I've had this like nearly a year, and considering how regularly I use it, it's pretty shocking that it's still going. My fingertips are really cold at the moment, so I'm actually just going to buff it in with a brush. This is the Real Techniques 402. My eye have been super, super dark under my eyes, like even more than usual lately, and very puffy. The Christmas diet, aka, inhalation of cake and crisps and cheese and beer and everything bad for me has definitely been visible on my skin. Like I got this huge spot here as well, and there's like a scar because, of course, I had to pick at it. That's just me. That's what I do. So yeah, I'm really puffy, very, very dark under the eyes. That's probably low iron because I haven't been taking any multivitamins or anything for ages. So I really just need to start kind of looking after myself a bit better. And again, that all comes into my New Year's resolution of looking after myself well and being nice to myself. Like last night, I had a really nice bath, Lush bath bombs, and just kind of being kind to myself because this is the only body I'm ever going to have. I can't change it. So I'm going to try and look after it a bit better, make sure I take my medication on time, try not to get too stressed about things, especially if they're out of my control. Hello, thank you for joining us. Um, and yeah, just generally keep my cortisol levels as low as possible, keep my vitamins up, lots of protein, back to the gym. So I had a bit of an issue a couple of weeks ago where I was diagnosed with tennis elbow in both of my arms. So I was going really heavy at the gym and like trying to get all these PBs and stuff, and like I really shouldn't have done that because now I've fucked both of my forearms. So all I can really do at the moment, alongside going to physio and doing these sort of like weird exercises for my tendons in my arms, is basically train legs. So that's all I can do now. So I'm gonna have to take it easy in the gym. The other impact of the terrible diet for the last sort of month and a half is that my scale weight has massively jumped up. So if you were watching any of my other lives, you know that I lost like 2.5 stone. I have gained about 12 pounds of that back. Now, not all over December, but the majority. And I know some of that's probably water weight as well, but it's still quite distressing when you've like spent over a year, trying to lose all this weight and like putting so much effort into it. I canceled a lot of social events that had food and drinks and stuff. I stopped drinking for 6 months. And it was really, really stressful trying to lose the weight. And I felt like I put my life on hold while I did that. So now to have gained back quite a lot of it so quickly is really distressing. I'm trying again not to beat myself up about it, and just lose it in a slow and steady way. I'm doing dry January, but to be honest, I don't know if I will go back onto alcohol at all. I just don't think it's really a good way of living because like if you think about it, it's just empty calories. It's really expensive, especially if you're going out. Yes, it's social, but you can also just, have a fucking water, or a Coke or a coffee or something. You feel like shit the next day. It stays in your system for what, a good 2 weeks apparently, alcohol. Um I can't put on weight. I'm sure you probably can, but you'd have to do like a deliberate gaining diet, So you'd have to be in a surplus every single day. You'd have to eat probably when you're not feeling hungry and almost kind of, stretch your stomach a little bit. And that is an issue in itself. And I don't like when people are flippant about things like, oh, well, you're just so lucky you can't gain weight, etc. Like, that is a genuine problem for lots of people, and it can be just as distressing and challenging to deal with as not being able to lose weight. So I sympathize with you there. Now that we have alcohol-free Koppenberg, there's no need for alcohol. I find Koppenberg personally a little bit too sweet for me, but the alcohol-free beers in general are a fucking godsend. Like, I'm not crazy on the 00 Guinness, but some of the 00 beers are really, really nice. So that was a big help last year when I quit for about 6 months. So I'm gonna have to probably go back down that route again, or just have like soft drinks and stuff. At least you feel less left out when you've got like an actual beer in your hand, even if it's a 00 beer, like the alcohol free ones. And I was shocked the last time I went into Sainsbury's when I saw how many 00 beers there are now. There's a huge fucking section. Like, everyone is trying to at least cut down on their alcohol intake, if not give up completely. Right, all I'm doing is jabbering on, and I'm not actually putting on any makeup. I just spritzed my face a while ago with the e.l.f. What's this called? I'm nearly out of it actually. Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray. That's what I was gonna say, and then I was like, oh no, I'm not actually sure on the name. This was grand. I wouldn't say it has amazing grip, but it's quite hydrating. I would say it is a little bit dewy. Yeah, it's pretty good. Alcohol-free Prosecco. I've not tried that one. So are you completely alcohol-free then? Like, do you not drink at all? Because I think that's very impressive in like this kind of drinking culture that we have in the Western world. Like, it's so, what's the word? Pervasive. That's the word. It's fucking everywhere. Like, everything revolves around eating and drinking in particular in the UK. And like, you just can't get away from it. Yeah, that's totally true, actually. It's very, very good for people that are driving and still want to go out and not feel left out. I'm very impressed. So how long have you been alcohol free for? Like, is it months, years? Very, very impressive. When I was actually in my 20s, I hardly drank at all. Like, 6 months could go by and I wouldn't have had a pint or anything. I'm not English, I'm actually Irish, but I live in the UK. So I live in Manchester, which is the northwest of England, for anybody who isn't sure. But yeah, like, Irish drinking culture, English drinking culture is massive. Like, it's all about going to the pub. And like, while that can be lovely in the social aspect, I don't think alcohol as a substance is actually doing us any good. Wow, 11 years. I'm actually shockingly impressed. That's so, so cool. Well done. Good for you. Do you ever get temptation anymore, or has that like completely gone for you? Because like, sometimes, especially like with nice drinks like cocktails, I'm like, oh, but I would like an espresso martini, or I really would like a margarita or something, you know. Or sometimes you've just had a fucking stressful day and you're like, I deserve a vodka and coke, or I deserve a rum and lemonade, you know. It can be that sort of a thing as well. Like, alcohol, you can do comfort eating and comfort drinking, in my opinion. They do nice curries. Yeah, that's true. First few years was tough. Okay, well, I'm glad to know like there is light at the end of the tunnel, essentially, that like if I choose to stick with this no alcohol thing, um it will eventually go, because like, I've tried to do this whole thing called moderation and I just can't fucking do it. A couple of times it's worked, and then other times I'll just have one beer too many, and that's the tipping point. It really doesn't help as well that I love Belgian beers, and Belgian beers are usually much, much stronger than the sort of typical lagers that we drink in the UK. Like, they can be 7, 8, even 10%, like if it's a Trappist beer. And like, although you don't get as much of a hangover off them, you can still get pretty shit faced. Right, what am I looking for? Ah, setting powder. I'm still using the Catrice Under Eye Brightener, but this sounds really terrible. I'm getting bored of it. I want to try something else, and I want to try something like more blurring. I'm really annoyed that the L'Oreal Blurfection is still not available here. And then there's the Wet n Wild pink one that I would like to try as well. So I'm keep like putting that in my Amazon basket and then taking out. And I'm like, no, I've got all this stuff to use up. Because I just feel like the Laura Mercier translucent doesn't I don't know, did they do something or did my skin change? But it just doesn't work the same way for me anymore. It actually darkens my under eyes a little bit. And even this does a tiny bit as well. I have to be really careful, like how much of this I actually use. And even though it's meant to be an under eye brightener, I always end up going around my T-zone with it. People were complaining about the price of this per gram. Like, fucking get over yourselves. It's tiny and it's only meant for under your eyes. Right, that was that part of the rant over. What will I rant about now? I never used that one actually. The peach powder. I've never tried it. Has anyone tried the Huda powders? Because they've got loads of different colored powders, and I'm really interested in the Kosas Cloud Set, like the setting powder is the actual, not the loose one, the pressed powder, the baked one. I really want to know what that's like. I was also in a peer group that was very heavy drinkers that I had to distance from as they constantly pressured me to drink. I'm really sorry that happened to you. I have to say, a lot of my friends have either stopped drinking or cut down. So I do feel that I won't be pressured. And I didn't feel pressured last year, to be fair. But long term it could be more difficult, especially like work dues and things like that. I mean, I am self-employed, but I do work part-time at a college as well. And I was invited out to the Christmas do. I couldn't make it anyway, but I can imagine people that don't know you can probably be like, why aren't you having a drink? Especially at a Christmas party. I had a lovely Christmas. Thank you very much. How was everybody else's Christmas? I'm just doing my bottom lashes here with the e.l.f. lash extender. I was watching a video from Emily Knoll this morning actually, and she said that this is actually a tubing mascara. I had no fucking idea this was a tubing mascara. I just know it's the one of the best bottom lash mascaras I've ever used. Second only to my MAC Giga Black Lash. So yeah, if you want elongated, defined bottom eyelashes, this is the one to go for, the e.l.f. lash extender. So good. I'm sorry if the lighting keeps changing. The sun is kind of going in and out of the clouds. It seems to have stopped snowing now, but there's probably like a ridiculous reflect, like even more than usual, because outside is basically just white. I like snow. I don't have a problem with snow. I saw someone posting earlier about like, ew, it's snowing, and I'm like, it's so nice. Like we hardly ever get this kind of weather. Like, can't you just be a bit more positive? Snow is lovely, and like it's Sunday. Where are you going? That's so important that a few flakes of snow are gonna cause an issue. I got Max Stack mascara in a set, and I have to say I'm not impressed. Oh my god, I have this as well, and I am also not impressed. I opened this over Christmas, and I was like, what the fuck is this? So first of all, I thought in my innocence, or maybe it is, I just can't fucking get it open, that this was two different levels of mascara. Do you know what I mean? Where there's like a filter thing. So like the bottom part will open fine, but I swear it looks like there's another screw top here. Because otherwise, what the fuck is with the design of the packaging? But I can't get it open. Like, can you please confirm? Like, but I can see that it looks like it twists off. Again, my shitty camera, you can't really see, it's not focusing. It's focusing on my face and not that. There's like the little ribs, like, but the mascara is fucking dreadful. This is like a real throwback to something like, it's almost like MAC Zoom Lash. Do you remember how fucking terrible that was? The only good thing I could say about MAC Zoom Lash is it was really black. That was it. Other than that, it was a nightmare. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with this Max Stack, but it's probably just going to end up in the bin. I'm glad I didn't pay very much for it. Same as you, I got it in a set. So yeah, that's dreadful. I generally find I don't like high-end mascaras that much. So stick with the Essence, stick with the e.l.f., like all of these sorts of ones. Catrice mascaras are quite nice as well, and they're not very expensive. So like, why would we bother going for MAC Stack, which is actually worth? Okay, I'm quite happy with how my eyes are looking now. Let's do a bit of contouring. So I'm just grabbing the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Bronzer and Contour. I use this all the time. I also use the like Halo Wand version. They're essentially one and the same. I'm just putting that on the back of my hand, and I'm going to spritz it with a bit of the e.l.f. Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray. And this is kind of just to thin it out and make it apply a little bit more smoothly. I'm going to literally just take any brush to apply this. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to go for this one. I do want a fairly heavy contour along my chin. I've been doing this more and more, especially after the old Christmas weight gain. It does help. So yeah, just giving myself the defined jawbone that I don't really have. And it's really good if you put it like right under the chin as well, just to kind of slim this down a small bit. You have to be careful though not to go like too extreme, or you know, it will look really, really obvious. Then next, I always start kind of right at the back of the cheekbone because you can blend it in. At the minute, I'm just looking at placement. I'm not really blending it in just yet. Obviously, I'm not going to leave it like this. And then my 5 head comes into play. So again, I start right at the top, and I am going to buff the shit out of this to make my forehead appear smaller. I still feel like it looks a lot warmer on me, on my face, than it does on other people. And like, I do have cool undertones, but I'm not that cool. So if someone else could like confirm or deny, can you please confirm? I'm once again asking for your support, you know, Bernie Sanders. Right. Let's just buff this in. And it got the brush dirty, thick in ink. I don't understand. Never mind. Okay, so buffing in this side as well. That Glossier, what was it called again? I've already forgotten. Something about birthday. Birthdaybalm.com has been soaking onto my lips there for a good 40 minutes. So that will be ready to remove soon. And my poor chapped, destroyed, peeled lips can get some product on them. I'm not really sure if I can be arsed wearing a blush today. To be fair, I didn't even need to wear makeup today. I just sort of put it on. But I think I will wear a blush because I want to talk about the blush that's been my absolute favorite for this entire month, which is Max Margin. It's a Frost powder blush. I believe this is discontinued, sadly, but if you can try and find it on Vinted or whatever, it's well worth it. I'm just going to apply that with a really old Sigma brush. I have been loving this. So even though it's actually kind of warm, it works. I believe this is meant to be really similar to the original, I've never had Desert Rose. This is meant to be really similar to the original Warm Soul before it got reformulated. But I'm talking like pre-2009. I think it was the Pixie Woo sisters were talking about that at one point. They were on about how good the original Warm Soul was. And then I saw a post about how this and the original Warm Soul were similar. If that is the case, I can totally see why people really liked that color. I don't have it to compare. That would be a really difficult thing to get your hands on. I have been looking on Vinted for new finds, but I haven't really seen anything yet. I think people are probably still in their Christmas lull, but generally January tends to be a really good time for picking up people clearing out old products and discontinued things, often never even touched. But yeah, this is a really natural but kind of warm blush. You know, you wouldn't think that it would work, especially with this really cold eye. But it's the kind of blush that you can just wear with anything. Cubic is a bit like that as well, but Cubic's got a bit more of a rosy undertone. Oh, thank you for the eye combination compliment. I appreciate that. So lipstick, I suppose, next. Let me just wipe off my lips. To be honest, I probably should have just left the lip balm on. They're in such trouble. So I believe it might be time for me to actually join the lip oil crew because my lips are so dry. But I was wearing, what was this? The L'Oreal Coloriche 235 Nude. Is this the same as Fairest Nude in the US? I don't know. I think they might have the same number at least. I don't know if they're the same color. This is got that really like old school lipstick scent. I don't mind it at all. It's not a problem for me. You don't really smell it when it's on your lips. But this is really like hydrating, has a bit of a shine. It is just a natural color. It's nude without muting lip color, I would say. It gives my lips a slight warmth, but it mainly just feels really comfortable when my lips are so dry at the moment. Hello, how you doing, Sharon? So that's the lipstick on its own. I feel like it needs a slight balancing, so maybe if I put a bit of a lip liner with it. And again, I do feel like having slightly enhanced lips is a bit more like youthful as a look. And I'm not trying to be trendy. I'm not trying to, you know, do the overlined lips thing. I just think it looks flattering. So I've got a few different choices here. I can't seem to find stone. I think it's in my handbag. So I'm going to use the Kiko Milano liner in 23, which is like a kind of like a cool toned nude. Oh God, this needs sharpening. So that's what that looks like there. But I'm going to sharpen it first. So I'm just using the NYX sharpener. I got this one many, many years ago because it fits the NYX Jumbo eyeshadow pencils. If anybody remembers those, that's just the NYX sharpener, complete with, you know, falling debris. So I'm just going to line my lips a little bit. It's actually quite a nice combination. The things you discover when you can't find what you were actually looking for. This lip liner is so soft and blendable. It's really, really nice. It's an absolute dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Fair lip liner. I've compared those in the past. Really, really good. Right, so I'm just going to, God, I nearly picked up dry shampoo there. I'm going to spritz my face with the Milk Hydro Makeup Grip and Set Refresh Spray. I probably called that out incorrectly, but I'm just going to spritz that on. Quite watery, you don't need a lot of it. Yes, absolutely. We have the stained bag, and I have a real habit of like keeping old makeup bags as well, especially if they have like sentimental value. Like I have the one that I had when I was at uni, and you know, like or that it was a gift, or like it's just so nice to keep these things. Right, so I haven't done my hair, but to be honest, I can't really be arsed doing my hair. I think I'm just gonna slightly tidy up this weird bun thing that I've done. Why does it look greasy already? I literally washed it yesterday. I used to, well, my hair is dry, but the roots seem to have gotten greasier over the years. But I'm just gonna maybe put a bit of dry shampoo in the root and then fluff it and put it back into a bun and call it a day. I'm literally just sat here in my joggers slash sweatpants because, you know, to quote Mean Girls, sweatpants are all that fits me right now. I'm hoping to get back into my jeans soon. Fingers crossed. Maybe I'll talk about like fitness and calories and all that stuff in another video if anybody's interested. I know that can be triggering for some people, so you know, no obligation, and I will post a little disclaimer before I start. But yeah, sat here in my hoodie, my fluffy socks, and my sweatpants. Right, so I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me, and if you've made it this far, I really appreciate you. I will see you soon, and yeah, have an excellent day.